do you ever wonder what it takes to make a healthy baby? Well, I have the person to tell you all about it. I have Nikki from Sea to Sky Fitness, who helps women pre and postnatal have a healthy and hopefully happy and easy journey during the pregnancy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So listen, you and I are working together on a eating healthy program for women, which I think is so fantastic. Take me through the steps of your program of what someone can expect.
Yeah, so basically you have workouts for 36 weeks. So from the time you are at 5 weeks to 42 weeks in case you are a little bit late. So there's a different workouts for every trimester. And then of course your complement is to have some nutrition guidelines and some recipes for every trimester as well. And then there's also a component called the Empowered Pregnancy. So additional information like common pregnancy discomforts, some routines you can do to alleviate them. You've helped me with some nausea tips for settling nausea. And then other stuff that you might want to know as a new mom, like newborn sleep foundations, what supplements to take pre and postnatal. So it's more than just nutrition and fitness. It's a bit more wellness and a bit more,
it's all encompassing.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one of the things that you and I had spoken about that you thought was really important was pelvic floor health. Explain a bit about that.
Yeah, so I won't get too into the weeds about it, but basically your pelvic floor is, I call it the invisible hammock that hangs from your pubic bone to your tailbone, and it helps support all of your internal organs, so the uterus, the bladder, the rectum, and of course there's a lot of pressure on the pelvic floor during your pregnancy.
A lot. A lot.
A lot. And then also, so I am very focused on making sure that we are creating both a strong and supple pelvic floor during your pregnancy. So not just strengthening, but also lengthening and releasing. So we focus particularly on that in a lot of the workouts. So I call it my PCC method. So it's pelvic floor and core circuit method.
Yeah.
And then I also always recommend that women during their pregnancy and postpartum see a pelvic floor physiotherapist.
Yeah. I've never actually heard of that before, a pelvic floor physiotherapist.
Yeah, so it's somebody who focuses specifically on the pelvic floor, and they will actually do, this may sound a bit invasive, but I assure you it is not a big deal. They do an internal exam to basically make sure that you are doing your Kegels properly.
Everyone else is down there during your pregnancy, so what's one more person anyways,
It's
right?
really not a big deal.
It's not.
No. Yeah, so they will do an internal exam to make sure that you are doing them properly, and so it's giving you that feedback that you need to know if you're doing it properly or not. Is your pelvic floor too tight? Is it not tight enough? Do you need to work on strengthening more or releasing more? And so I think seeing somebody prenatally can help inform how you train during pregnancy. And then also you can go back 6 weeks postpartum as well to do a follow-up checkup, and they can tell you where you're at there.
It's a really important step as well, being conscious of your pelvic floor, because it's something that, if not managed correctly during pregnancy, will impact you when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s with leakage, of urine leakage, a lot of problems. So I think that, conditioning that area of your body is a very important thing to do. What are some of the things that women are talking about to you that they are confused about, or they maybe don't have a good understanding of?
I think women just really want guidance, like what is it that I should be eating that can be optimizing my health and my baby's health during pregnancy? And so that's kind of where you've come in to help me sort of really hone in on that for women.
I think education through this process is key. My concern is that, women have a lot of information, and it's hard to navigate through all that information. When I was pregnant 17 years ago, there was the internet, but there wasn't a bombardment of all these people who knew everything about everything. How do you help them navigate through that?
Yeah, I think, Dr. Google's never a good place to start, but ultimately you need to find somebody who is trained in your area. So if you are pregnant, then seek out someone who's a pre and postnatal fitness specialist, find someone that you connect with, who you really like, and someone who aligns with your values ultimately.
So what is your advice in putting together your team of people to help you through the process?
Yeah, so I know for my pregnancy, I just sought out people, I had a doula, I had a midwife, I had, I was my own personal trainer, but I still, looked around to see what other people are doing. Just find people that you align with and check them out online, obviously, and see if there's a feeling of connection, and you can connect with them.
Don't be afraid to make changes if you have to.
Totally.
Because it's your journey. It's a once in a lifetime experience with that particular child, and I think it's a great chance to really get to know your body as well.
Yep.
Let's talk really quickly about about postpartum. What are some of the things that you do with women, and what is postpartum, aside from still looking pregnant for many weeks after you have your baby?
Yeah, so postpartum is a really fragile time, I think, in the first immediate weeks, and I think that you need to be really gentle with yourself and give yourself permission to heal and to be gentle and quiet and to not let gravity do its work. So spending time being horizontal.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you need to lie down all day, but that means that maybe...
But you can if you want to.
But you can if you want to, and you let your village take care of you, right? And during COVID, that might be a little more challenging, but for me, the best thing was just like the gift of time and the gift of food.
Yes.
If my friends would come over and say, let me help you like bathe your son tonight and fold your laundry, like that was amazing. You have to let people know that you need help. Yes. Like we're not in a culture where we ask for help. You know, people will say, let me help, like let me know if you need help, but then we don't actually take them up on it. So just, you know, let your village take care of you, tell them what you need, rest, do the breathing, give yourself time to get back into an exercise routine, and also, you know, see your doctor and pelvic floor physio at least at 4 or 6 weeks postpartum, and then seek somebody out who can help you do that rehab postpartum. So my program will have a 12-week ab rehab section, so it's going to be a gentle, gradual, you know, building of your foundation so that you can get back to what you wanted to do.
I like how you said be kind to yourself. I mean, I was lucky enough to have my mom and my mother-in-law both come out switching off for a month. They took care of me for a month. I had an emergency C-section. It was a tremendous change. Your body has to get back to kind of where it was and then heal. And let's, you know, talk about something growing and living inside of you, and suddenly that human being is no longer there. There's a weird sense of loss, and there's a lot to go through.
Yeah, it's a lot to process, and I think also women need to be cognizant of postpartum adjustment periods, you know, and those feelings of highs and lows that sometimes we experience, and the baby blues that they call them. You know I definitely went through it. It was like clockwork, day 3 noon, and I was like calling my mom crying and like crying for no reason on the floor, you know, and those are normal feelings.
Yeah. Actually, that makes me tear up because it's true. It's so,
like brings back those memories.
Why are you so upset? I don't know. It's just like you're flooded with these crazy hormones that are trying to balance in your body again.
Totally, yeah.
It's a lot. So if you want more information on Nikki and all the information she has for you for your pregnancy, please visit her at her website. Nikki, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.